Well, violence has exploded in LA with these anti-ICE riots. The people there are getting fairly extreme, and we are seeing things like them setting the American flag on fire, cars being set on fire, as you saw. And now there are people out there even setting patches of grass on fire, looting businesses. There was an Apple store that got looted, a restaurant that got looted. I believe that they took the cash register out. Many other businesses that have had their windows broken and shattered. We have the protesters sending bricks and concrete bricks at police officers there as well. So things are not as peaceful as the mainstream media wants to paint them. Of course, this is what they're lying to the American public, telling them. And this is why their channels are losing people like left and right. They're just all out lying to you. But I've got a lot to share with you today. The good news is Donald Trump has sent in his secret weapon, the military and the National Guard. He's actually doubled the National Guard. Take a look here. And this is on BBC News. Trump sends another 2,000 National Guard and 700 Marines to LA on the fourth day of unrest. And that is because the unrest is not, quailing, but it's intensifying because Governor Gavin Newsom is just looking the other way because Newsom wants these protests. He wants these protests out there because he doesn't want these illegal immigrant criminals taken back to their countries. It's obvious. So he has been really soft on what's going on there, and Donald Trump knows it, so he had to intervene. Now, the Insurrection Act has not yet been declared by Donald J. Trump. I don't know if he will or not. I guess it depends on how things escalate, and that's to his determination on that. But either way, the Marines are out there. They're not allowed to, physically interact with the protesters, and that won't happen unless he issues the Insurrection Act, but they're just there to kind of aid the police, the National Guard, and that kind of thing. But things are not looking good. In fact, on this coming June 14th, there's a massive planned event, another protest that's going to be taking place all over the freaking United States of America. And of course, all of it is linked to radical leftists. And speaking of radical leftists, who is actually behind these LA riots? Who's training them? Who's funding them? Who financially benefits? These are the questions the mainstream media should be asking, but they're not. I, however, am definitely asking all of those questions. But before I dive in, I got to give a quick shout out to my sponsor, noblegoldinvestments.com. Look, right now, things have gone crazy in the stock market. And one thing that you can always rely on is gold and silver and even precious metals. And Noble Gold has that security. This is one of the reasons I partner with them, because they have helped thousands, tens of thousands of people get secure in their finances. And this is really what I want for you. If you don't have a 401k, an IRA, or something backed by gold and silver, say you want to convert your 401k, Noble Gold Investments can help you with that. Give them a call at 1-877-646-5347. Let them know you heard it on Lisa Haven. And by the way, if you call them, they will give you, with any approved and qualified account, this 10-ounce silver American flag bar. So make sure that you mention my name when you call them. But again, this is just one way to protect yourself. If you want to, also go to lisahavengold.com, fill out that information, click get it now, and they're going to send you that free gold and silver investment guide. And by the way, there's always a risk to investing. Then there's never a guarantee. If you want more information, click that more button or click the link in the description box below. All right. But regarding these riots that are happening, I want to give you a couple of updates because it's going to lead into who is behind all of this, right? And take a look here, because this is just disturbing, right? And here we have the New York Post. A body has been discovered on an LA sidewalk near the looted stores in the wake of the anti-ICE riots. So now we have a dead person potentially involved in this riot. But on top of it, what is actually going on? How organized is this entire thing? Now, we know Donald Trump has released the secret weapon of the military and the National Guard there. He's doubled the forces, right? Which is really good. We need that. But what we need is to really get behind who is funding this. Because if we don't kind of track that and go after the funders of these violent riots, then they're going to continue to happen. See, we're never going to get to the bottom of this if we don't go after the funders. And that is the root cause of all of this. Take a look at this here. And I want to share this before I get into the organization, but you know something is organized when one day the mainstream media is out there saying, or not the mainstream media, the alternative media, the Lisa Havens of the world, right? The Alexes, the Lisa Havens, the fill in the blank of any conservative commentator. Well, we have been saying, look, it's all Mexican flags out there. Palestinian flags, Mexican flags, even communist flags have been flying out there. But they were burning American flags. Well, lo and behold, now flags are mysteriously appearing out there, and it's the American flag, and they're all nicely creased. You could see in this picture, I don't know if you could see it from here, but it's creased. So they just brought these out of the bag, and they're literally handing these flags out to protesters. Take a listen.
If you ask the Subaru right there,
but they're not put together.
Oh, they're not put together.
Okay.
That was a good idea.
Right.
We're gonna bring it back out.
We're gonna bring back the flags out. They're talking about the flags.
Yeah.
They're marching from this. They're going to start coming this way.
Yeah.
I think that was a good idea after yesterday.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks guys.
Some random guy is passing them out. So suddenly they recognize, oh, we should not just carry, Mexican and Palestinian and communist flags. We should stop burning the American flag in the country we supposedly want to live in. If you're flying the Mexican flag, you love Mexico, go back to Mexico. Right? What the hell? Like, you're asking to stay in the United States of America while burning our freaking flag, right? And here that is. Anti-ICE protests in LA spit and burn on the American flag. And then suddenly, now the American flag is out because it is organized. And that is why that is happening. On another note, here's what else screams that it is organized. And then I'm going to tell you who the organizers are, right? And this is a video. And it basically shows, see the shields? Right there, bionic shield. They're actually giving these away to protesters. Take a listen.
Describe where it just feels like something's going to happen and you're waiting for it to happen. And you can look around, you see the National Guard in front of the federal building, but as far as this intersection where we're seeing all this take place, there's no local police to be seen. Yeah. And we have people handing out masks and gas masks, and we just saw people graffitiing the sidewalk right in front of this truck, and we've seen people doing burnouts in the street. There's no local law enforcement around.
So they're passing out masks and gas masks, and you saw some of that bionic mask there on the screen. And these are what they're using in the event that, say, the police department shoots tear gas or fill in the blank. So they're planning on being mischievous. Why else would you have these masks? And they're handing them out in bulk, and they're handing them out here. And it's water bottles that they were also handing out as well, but boxes of stuff like that. And the stuff they're handing out is stuff you're only going to use in the event of wanting to cause some kind of trouble or issue. But the mainstream media wants to tell you, no, this is organized. What? It's just organic. In fact, there was a CNN clip on that. I'm sidetracking. But with that, how about some information on who the organizers are? Well, I want you to meet a young man by the name of Ron Gochez. He is one of the people that is organizing the LA protests, right? And his shock agenda was exposed. This is on countrylocalnews.com. That is the website here. And it says, meet Ron Gochez, LA protesters organizers' shocking agenda exposed. At the forefront of these demonstrations is Ron Gochez, a self-proclaimed revolutionary who has emerged as a pivotal organizer of unrest in the city. It goes on. Ron Gochez is an activist whose radical ideology has garnered both attention and controversy. Identifying himself as a revolutionary, Gochez has openly called for a revolution aimed at reclaiming land from what he described as white racist people. Sounds familiar. His rhetoric is rooted in a desire for social justice, equity, particularly concerning land ownership and historic injustices faced by communities of color in the United States. So this man is very controversial. Speaking of, he is linked with this organization here, Union del Barrio. And this isn't an organization, by the way, that's kind of that he is linked with and is, I believe, to be also involved in the protest. And here he is, Union del Barrio, went to go talk on Union del Barrio. You can see Ron Goches, right? He's linked with this organization, and he went on Democracy Now! And had an entire interview on Democracy Now! You know, the masterminds behind the massive censorship on conservatives and a bunch of other things, radical left group. But here it is. This is truthout.org. LA community organizer describes hour-long street battle with Border Patrol. And in this video, you can see Democracy Now! Is talking to Ron Goches, community organizer with Union del Barrio, who helped organize some of the protests. Now, I showed you some stuff of how radical he is, but here's where it gets even more interesting. Here's him in the past capping on capitalism.
As a militante of Unión del Barrio, a revolutionary Mexican organization here, we understand what the camarada is saying. You're right, this is not just about Mexico. This is about a global struggle against imperialism and capitalism. Our enemy is the same enemy as Hugo Chavez, that Hugo Chavez has. Our enemy is the same enemy that keeps Africa poor. Our enemy is the same enemy that keeps Asia poor. Our enemy is capitalism and imperialism.
You know what makes this even worse? How about the fact that he's also a teacher? Listen to what he says here.
And so some of the things that we can do as teachers is to organize. We just have to be really intelligent on how we do that. We have to know we're under the microscope. We have to know that Zionists and others are going to try to catch us in any way that they can to get us into trouble. So I help the students to organize. We go to those actions, and a lot of us here that have been to those actions have brought our students.
Sounds like he's racist against a certain people group. Jews? Wow. This is a guy that is teaching your children and organizing at a level these protests. Not only that, but let's get into this little number here, because SEIU leader, a union leader, right, was charged with conspiracy to impede an officer for protesting the ICE raids. A California labor leader, David Huerta, 58, was released from federal custody on Monday on a $50,000 bond after being charged with a conspiracy to impede an officer. Huerta, the president of Service Employment International Union in California, was arrested during an anti-ICE protest in LA. What was his crime? Huerta was arrested while law enforcement officers were executing a federal search warrant at a Los Angeles business suspected of hiring illegal immigrants and falsifying employment papers. A special agent from Homeland Security Investigations, which is part of the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, wrote in a federal court filing obtained by the AP. And obviously, specifically Maxine Waters and other Democrats are very pissed off about his arrest. Is he above the law? He impeded an investigation of illegal immigrants falsifying documents. If you and I did that, we would be arrested. But because he is the union of SEIU, he's above the law? No, he isn't. You'll get a kick out of this. Here's Maxine Waters actually trying to enter the Los Angeles Federal Building, right? And this was posted by STU regarding David Huerta, the SEIU president there. Take a listen. Oh, before I show you, I want you to pay attention to all the graffiti around her, right? All right, take a watch.
No, I want you to, hello, Congresswoman Waters. I just came to use my congressional authority to check on David.
Ma'am, we're logging securely now to all visitors.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public affairs office.
I need to get in.
What are you hoping to do, Congresswoman?
I just want to see David Huerta. Right.
Would a congressperson normally be able to enter the...
Normally, yes.
What is happening here?
Well, there were some of the authorities, I don't know who they were, and I'm trying to get in to see David Huerta, who they have arrested. He is the head of SEIU local union here. I don't know why he was targeted. I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know whether they're going to deport him. I want to report back.
If he committed a crime, Miss Maxine Waters, he's not above the law, and that he did. But you just see all the graffiti. It says F-ICE in the back. You could see in the very beginning. So she's walking into, obviously, a very volatile situation that the mainstream media wants to tell you is not volatile and peaceful. And you can see all the graffiti around her. It's just insane. Let me see if I can kind of pull to that. See it right there in the back, moving a little bit more. You see it all around her. And this just shows how bad things really and truly are there. And by the way, why would Miss Maxine Waters want to go and visit the SEIU president? Let's take a look at that. Here we have New York Times. SEIU plans $200 million effort to aid Biden and the Democrats. That was back in 2024. Hey, let's go back to 2023. Union pumped $700 million into Democrat Party causes nationwide. Nonprofit report finds. Oh, money, 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 money. Who else is behind these protests? Well, there's another little group. Here we have Just the News, advocacy group at the heart of anti-ICE protest in LA, has long raised money through Act Blue. What organization are they talking about? The Coalition for Human Immigration Rights of LA, CHIRLA. An advocacy group at the center of organizing efforts of the anti-ICE protests in LA has long raised money through Act Blue, the controversial Democrat Party-oriented nonprofit entity that is under investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice and Congress, thankfully. According to the social media pages of the Coalition for Humane Immigration Rights of L.A., CHIRLA, the group was formed in 1986 to advance the human and civil rights of immigrants and refugees, and their mission: educate, organize, advocate, the landing page says. Speaking of this organization that is linked to Act Blue, right? Well, the good news is Act Blue is under investigation for illegal contributions, right? I know James O'Keefe dropped a lot of those illegal things that they were doing, and that is why the U.S. is investigating him. But this group, and this is them right here, CHIRLA, is getting the funding from Act Blue that is kind of involved in these riots in LA. But speaking of them, they're not the only cohorts. Do you know that our own United States government donated and gave money to help fund this? Take a look at this article. This is on LifeSet. Biden administration and Act Blue funded group behind abolish ICE protests in LA. The DHS, under the Biden-Harris administration, awarded a $450,000 grant to an organization currently staging protests against ICE, a division that operates within DHS. The grant was given to, there it is, Coalition for Human Immigrants' Rights, CHIRLA, CHIRLA, I think is how you pronounce it, a Los Angeles-based nonprofit that has been publicly opposing ICE operations, including those recently conducted across the city. According to the grant records and documents posted by investigative reporter Natalie Winters, they received the grant through the DHS program. And you can see, here's Natalie Winters. I'm kind of showing us the information on that. And here is that grant, where she takes a screenshot, all for this little organization, which was, well, lo and behold, also behind it all, behind some of it. So we've got our organizers: CHIRLA, Act Blue, Ron, Gochez, blanking on his last name, SEIU, kind of, they donate a lot of money, not directly involved, I guess, but he was there in the protest. But here's what's interesting is, instead of the radical left settling down, which they won't, right? They're not going to settle down until Donald Trump goes after the money. He's got to go after the money. And we're focusing on some of the wrong things here, because these protesters wouldn't be happening. And the good news is he's going after Act Blue. Hope to God something comes of that, because there has been supposedly a lot of fraud within the company. But either way, there is another protest planned for June 14th that you need to know about, because they're going to be happening all across the city. Here we have protests, and this is on Salty Girl. Protests are planned this coming weekend, June 14th, by a group called No Kings, per their websites, right? And you can see some of them there, but let's go to their website. Here they are. In America, we don't do kings. And basically, we've defied the courts. Woo. Deported Americans, disappeared people, whatever. They're just blaming Donald Trump like the mainstream media. On June 14th, they are going to rise up. And they're in Washington, D.C. and areas. And you can see they've got some pretty big stars there of all their main ones that they're going to be hosting. And unfortunately, I believe that one is in Phoenix, Arizona, but that's where they're coming. And then, by the way, they also have training. So these are the people training. They're training people to know your rights when you're there, how to act when you get there, how to disappear an American mass call, and all of this. No Kings Marshal training. Training designed to prepare you for the event. So they're actually training these people on protest, how to get involved, know your rights, what are your rights when you rally, and all of this. So they're actually holding training for some of that as well. And who are their sponsors? Well, all the major corporates, 51 we have there. That's a big company. ACLU, Bernie, hey, Black Voters Matter. And you could see just the whole list of all the radical leftist groups, communism there and the whole nine yards, socialism, all your indivisible. You've heard that quite a few times. They've been making a lot of headway. But there are some of the organizations that are involved. Planned Parenthood, Stand Up America, a lot of these organizations you are absolutely aware of. So there you have it. More to come. But you know what? In conclusion, and I know I went longer than I normally do, but liberals are using the art of war techniques. I wrote an article on this a while back, right? And this is back in 2018. They're still using the same playbook that they have used for a very long time. And what is that playbook? Well, here's the 5 techniques they are using to silence us. And this is ever more true today than it's ever have been, right? And this was written by me in 2018, some of this regarding that. I didn't write the book. I didn't write the points, but these points are in the art of war. So I didn't come up with them, but they're in this art of war, right? But here's what it says. The 5 techniques that liberals are using to silence us, according to the art of war. Number 1, liberal rhetoric. Liberals explaining what conservatives really mean, though it means something different. So they twist our words. We say, for example, we want the illegal criminals out of here. They've broken the law, and we need them out. And we say, you're more than welcome to come in legally and be a part of our country. We support legal immigration. Liberals say they're racist. They hate people of color. Twist it. Number 2, encourage protests, riots, and violence. We've seen that, unfortunately, BLM, Antifa, the Summer of Love, and now with the LA riots. Number 3, deplatforming people. They tried extremely hard to do that under Donald Trump's and Joe Biden, Donald Trump's first administration and Joe Biden. And they massively succeeded in getting tens of thousands of people off air. And they're still trying. That's why I have Restricted Republic. Number 4, political correctness. As you notice, anything they don't like, they'll change it. It's designed to silence people. That is why there's this big fight on transgender, 2 genders, and the whole 9 yards. And number 5, false labeling. When someone is in a political office or position of power, is a minority, then liberals make it automatically against the rules to criticize their political agenda, no matter how bad it is. So they really go after minorities who are on our side because it doesn't fit their paradigm, right? Anyhow, I want to encourage you with all of that. Please get on over to Restricted Republic. As you know, because of the because of the censorship and all of that happened, we created this platform for that reason, and we share exclusive content that you're not getting anywhere else. Please go there and subscribe. Use the coupon code Lisa and the number 5 to get it for $5 per month. I really hope to see you there. Anyhow, with all of that, I love you all. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.